A very good afternoon to you, our viewers. It's Monday. It's time to talk sports on Punch Sports Extra. My name is Shegun Odun. I have my co-presenter with me here in Eniton. Eniton. Good afternoon to you.
A very good afternoon to you.
It's a thriving Monday.
It is. And a very cold Monday too.
Yeah, cold, I guess.
Looks like we're expecting the rain. And
let it come down upon us with numerous blessings as well.
Yes. I choose to be under a shade when it comes down.
Very quickly, we begin with what we know how to do best, which is checking the front page of our darling Punch Sports Extra, the print copy. And you could see there the three members of the Super Falcons boldly captured in front of Punch Sports Extra this morning. Of course, three Super Falcons members alongside Rinsola Babajide, who did the Jota celebration in the 3-0 victory of the Super Falcons on Mission X, as they've tagged it. Of course, you know, we've won the Women African Cup of Nations 9 times, and we are ready to go for the 10th this time around in Morocco. And we started the WAFCON competition for us with a 3-0 victory over Tunisia yesterday. Anytime, 3-0. Assistant to Shuala getting the first goal. You know, there were lots of comments about her just before the competition. Eventually, she made the squad. And she started with a bang. Then, Rinsola Babajide got a goal. And towards the end of the game, Ihezuo got the third. 3-0 for the Super Falcons. A comfortable victory.
Comfortable victory and a perfect way to start the tournament. You want to start on the stronger foot. I'm not sure if the last tournament they started with a win, but this is the perfect way to start the tournament. Everybody keeps talking about the La Decima, the X. You understand? The possible 10th trophy for the Super Falcons. However, I'm not, going to be overly excited just yet. It's the group stage. You understand? I believe they'll get past the group stage.
Of course.
But when it gets to, when the push comes to shove, and when it gets
where
to,
the big girls are,
where the big girls are, that is where we want to see them turn up like the giants that they truly are. But it's a massive win for the Super Falcons. What a way to start the competition!
What a way to start the competition! You could see the ladies online yesterday soaking it all in, enjoying themselves on social media. Of course, when you win now, it's easy for you to come back online because of all the love you'll be getting.
Exactly.
Still sticking on the front page. This man has been on the front page more times this year. In fact, in the last 1 year than any other person. I am almost sure if we bring out the pages every day, we're going to see something about him on the front page of not just Punch Sports Extra, but I mean everywhere else is hitting the headlines. I'm talking about Victor Osimhen. Since the whole issue began with Napoli and he had to leave to Gala, and then where we expected last summer he's going to leave, probably go to a top club. He has been on the headlines every time. Of course, with his wonderful performances, he has kept on banging the goals as well and getting assists. But this time around, reports have it that he wants to stay with Gala. A permanent move with Galatasaray. Anytime. We've been saying, we talk about this almost every time because he's always on the front page.
Absolutely.
I mean, why? What's going on?
I guess that's why Victor Osimhen is Victor Osimhen. I think before I say anything, I would like to give kudos to Victor Osimhen. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Nigerian. And I'm not saying this because I'm a big fan of Victor Osimhen or because I love him as a player, but because he has been able to manage, the drama of pitch. With the contract with his parents' club, and the uncertainty of his future. And he has been able to, and then the drama online too, on social media with the influencers and stuff. But he has been able to manage it and, being too composed on the pitch. You understand? He has not allowed the issues off pitch to affect him off pitch. That's what you expect of a top professional. However, the fact still remains, where is he going to end up? All the reports, are coming here and there, and we don't know which one to actually, run with.
But the people are not coming for him anymore. No Arsenal at the moment. No Liverpool at the moment.
Don't say anymore. Because, reason being that this transfer window is coming with a lot of drama. The other time we had one certain player, I said no to Manchester United and wants to go to Arsenal. Then before he knew it, we heard that he's trying to force a move to Manchester United. It just keeps coming and coming. Recall that a certain, what's his name now, the Athletic reporter,
Austin.
Yes, David Austin said that Manchester United had no plans for Victor Osimhen.
Yeah.
Only for the transfer window to start, and then Manchester United started thinking about Victor Osimhen, although the talks have cooled down lately, but the fact that their top target is going to London as we speak,
yes,
is likely going to end up in London.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not mentioning names, you understand? So he's going to
sure.
get sweeter if you hang on. So he's likely going to end up in London. There might just be that Manchester United would actually, one way or another, find a way to get Victor Osimhen if they actually want. Because if you look at the market, who would you rather have in Manchester United? Who would drive the team, the goal, the dreams, and who will win the fans of Manchester United? If not, I'm not making PR for Victor Osimhen. I'm not selling market, but it is what it is. So Victor Osimhen is that player that until the transfer window ends, and even afterwards, we'll still talk about him. So yesterday I heard reports that a certain Cassano, I don't know if you recall the Italian legend.
Antonio Cassano. There's something I have in my head about him. I read a
really?
Punch about 18 years ago. Antonio Cassano, yeah, where is Antonio Cassano?
anyways, so I heard a report that he's telling Napoli to keep Victor Osimhen. That having Victor Osimhen and Lukaku together is going to be really explosive. And then there are other ex-players too, saying that Napoli should actually keep Victor Osimhen. They should find a way to settle their differences and then work things through. But as it is, I don't think Victor Osimhen would want to continue.
I don't think he wants to.
It is not about the club.
But now, sticking with Gala,
just the management.
That will put a big, if he's going to stay in Gala, why not go to Al Hilal and get all the money? Staying there will probably not do you no good, because when they're talking about African Footballer of the Year and somebody scores 18 goals, even if he scores 25 goals or 30, people still say you're outside of top 5.
No.
Champions League, you're most likely not going to be doing any great thing.
I understand.
Winning it is probably 0. Europa,
well.
maybe you just be winning your local league and then you just win a local champion.
The beautiful thing about transfers is the fact that there are rumors to drive people nuts.
Yeah, I agree.
They are just rumors.
Some of them are just
agendas. And sometimes these rumors come from the club.
Yes.
You understand? They just come from third parties and the players too.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Do that.
And then there are some people that have interests. You understand? The influencers, they have interest. They want clicks, they want reactions, they want this and that.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, of course,
it's
agree.
true.
I agree
now,
with you.
I think you recall that, I think it was during the week, some reports came that Victor Osimhen does not want to stay at Gala permanently.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And then if you recall, I think it was one of the people in hierarchy in Galatasaray, I can't recall the position he held or he holds presently, and he said that Victor Osimhen would leave, and if he wants to leave, it's for the money, and they understand. I'm like, why would you say such a thing? Exactly. And they are trying to play the agenda, emotional, what's it called now? They're trying to play an emotional game such that, when he leaves, you see, he's leaving because of this reason. Or he might just change his mind and say, I'm not going to leave. These people like me. You understand that they like him. Well, everybody wants Victor Osimhen, just so you know. But the best decision that he will make is the one that fits him, that suits him. Is his career we are talking about. People really need to simmer down and, not speak as though they have the whole information. They have his interest. And everybody just wants to, make this here and there. Let's wait for Victor Osimhen to make decision. But I hope that he stays in Europe, because a certain John Duran is back to Europe after just one season. And then they'll still say, if not your brother, he's back Europe.
Backyard Europe. They said he's never even going back to Al Hilal.
Yeah, it's never. The relationship is
just a year deal, but he's not going back.
He's not going back.
At 20, when he was beginning to enjoy his life,
about money.
Suddenly went somewhere to make good money for a year. He's now leaving for Fenerbahce just for another year. Reports have been that after that year, he's probably going somewhere else.
But if there's anybody who would help with his career, permit me. If there's anybody who
Jose Mourinho.
Yeah,
of course, I agree.
So let's see. Let's hope that they don't end up like the Pogba Mourinho
I
situation.
think he needs Mourinho as much as Mourinho needs him.
Oh yeah,
Mourinho wants to win the trophy next season.
Obviously, Victor Osimhen didn't allow Mourinho to win.
Yeah, at all. No chance. All right, very quickly, still sticking with the front page. We are moving on to a man who, Eniton gave a hint earlier, who is likely on his way to London. Yeah, the red part of London for Arsenal. Then somebody is asking, what is Mikel Arteta cooking? What is he cooking? Victor Gyokeres is likely on his way to Arsenal almost a year ago, in the words of Fabrizio Romano.
Yeah.
Now, quick one. The deal was that Arsenal wanted Benjamin Sesko from Leipzig. And then reports had it that Sesko was not going to make noise, get involved in the drama, just stayed on a low.
Exactly.
But Gyokeres had been causing trouble. Told the president of Sporting, I will not play for you again if you don't allow me go. It was all or nothing for him to leave, else he was going to scatter everywhere. And then it looks like Arsenal are getting him.
Well, I was going to say that it takes two to tango.
Of course.
Now, why did I say that? You said Victor Gyökeres has been causing trouble. Rightly so. However, the trouble, in quotes, didn't start from him.
Yeah.
You understand?
There was an
agreement.
Yes.
Gentleman agreement. Okay, I'm going to leave for 60 million.
Yeah.
If I would say 60 million is not bad for Gyökeres. However, they changed agreements. The management said, they were not going to let him go. If you knew he was going to go at the end of the season, why not, just make something around January so that, that's how clubs are doing these days. You understand? But unfortunately, they didn't do that. And the man had to, almost force his way out of the club. And, we even heard rumors that he had to part ways with his Portuguese girlfriend because he doesn't want,
probably propaganda.
Exactly. However, the most interesting part for me in this, transfer is that the man was willing or has given, the green lights to part way with 2 million euros. 2 million euros so that I could, fast track exactly the transfer, to Arsenal. But it's a big one. Arteta is actually cooking something.
Quick one, Anyton.
Yeah.
There's reports of Noni coming. Noni Madueke coming from Chelsea. Arteta has gotten Zubimendi.
Yeah.
Arteta has equally gotten who else again now? He has gotten this top guy now. He got
midfielder from is it Bournemouth?
No.
Brentford.
He's about getting
with
Norgard
out.
He's about getting Norgard from
yeah.
Brentford. Christian Norgard. He has gotten Zubimendi. He's on the chase of Eze. He's almost getting Gyökeres. With all of these signings so far, 5, probably get 2 more. Do you think he's going to get the league next season?
Do you think he's going to get the league next season? That's the big question on everyone's lips. However, do you think he would hold his job beyond next season? Because if he doesn't get the league, operations, yes, that's it.
Wow.
That's it. However, they may say, okay, it's just 1 season with these guys. Let's say 2 seasons. But he needs to be very careful. Arsenal have what it takes now to win the league, because if you are bringing in a Gyökeres that has scored over 30 goals last season, you want to get him running instantly.
Is he Premier League tested?
Well, he's had a stint with Brighton.
There was
hold on. No. You can talk about Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee all day long. However, for Joshua Zirkzee, in his first season for Manchester United, he had over 10 goals and assists, which is good. Wow. Which is good. Comparing, we have to look at the fact that, he didn't settle in well. He had a fallout with the fans that he had to cry off the pitch. And then I think it was Bruno also that had to, go call him back and things like that. Things like that mess with your emotions. He's young. He's around maybe 23, 25 thereabout. But Gyökeres is, I think he's 28 or 27. And he has a bit of maybe Premier League or the league experience with Brighton. With Brighton. So it's going
July 7, 2025.
Oh yes,
we'll talk about
it's too early, right? However, he's a good player. He's the kind of player that you want. So somebody gave an analysis yesterday and said if he misses 9 chances, he's that kind of player that is dogged and will keep going and going, and he's going to get you the 10th chance that will actually decide the game.
That person.
However, we need him, or Arsenal needs him. Arsenal need him to bring back his form. I hope with the back and forth with Sporting, he won't leave his form there. Okay. They need him to bring that form and hit the ground running.
All right, that'll be all for us from the front page this morning. Hey, that's not all. Definitely, if you want more and more, of course, we just exist. Please go check up your vendor, pick up the paper, and have a great read. Very quickly, we move on to the myth of the show right now. And yes, very quickly, we're going to be analyzing what went down yesterday for the manager. Many persons thought this was probably going to be a little bit dicey. The players had not exactly trained together completely for a long while. Some old players were coming back, Ashley Plumpton, Asisa Toshuala. Some persons were thinking, what would it be like working with this group again? Of course, we know the core of the girls. Deborah Abiodun, Sinachi Ohale, Tony Payne, Michelle Alozie, Chiamaka Nadozie, and a couple of others. But yesterday, the coach used what we've exactly not seen before. Tony Payne was playing on the right. Rashida Tajibade was not playing on the flanks. There was this new girl, Misola Babajide. Then Asisat was in the middle. Of course, the middle of the park, Tony Payne, Deborah Abiodun. Even Christy Uchegbu was on the bench. If Onumonu was on the bench, Francisca Odega was on the bench. So, it was quite different. But somehow some person said they were a little wasteful, but they won at the end of the day. What do you think about that game, Anytone?
Oh, well, I think it's a brilliant game, if I would say that. And, the results is all that matters. You understand? For the coach to, to tweak tactics, it shows a lot that maybe he has confidence in this player.
New manager, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. And, there were reports. Okay, maybe some people were just, angry and saying the fact that he didn't celebrate the goals because he's a local manager, he should even be doing more. I'm just like, what are you guys saying?
There were not too many fans in the stadium, so some people seem to were smiling at the way he was doing the, hey, Rashida, hey,
It's normal.
What these foreign managers do it. You just
exactly.
Now.
Exactly.
Simple,
It's
when
simple,
you now hear, Tony.
It's not a big deal. I think the fact that you have a 100% capacity stadium, packed out, and then you don't hear what the manager says.
You don't.
That's why they have lip readers these days. You understand? So it's not a big deal, really. The result matters. You understand? And where they go from here, because it could actually impact their confidence if they had lost that game yesterday. So it's a good one. The guys are settling in quite all right, and let's wait to see where it goes from here. The fact that some players are on the bench, who knows? They could start the next game. You understand? Keep the legs fresh and keep the team strong. When we get to the tougher stages, we'll see. It's a team game. Don't forget.
Of course.
It's supposed to be a team game. It's not about names. You understand?
Yeah.
And it's a performance, and they actually performed well yesterday. 3-0. It's not big. You want them to trash them like maybe 9-0? Because I know some people were saying, they were wasteful. No, it's 3-0 now. Come on.
All right.
So.
But we had the two remaining teams in the group were Algeria and Botswana. Their own game ended 1-0 in favor of Algeria yesterday night, and it was a brilliant game. Botswana tried to come back into the game and get an equalizer. They're actually the lowest ranked team at WAFCON at the moment, but they're a good side without a doubt.
Yeah.
So Algeria has 3 points, same as Nigeria. I mean, we have 2 more games to go before we now, go proper into where the bigger girls are supposed to be, and then
Zambia,
we'll see like Zambia. Zambia drew their first game against Morocco.
Did you see the goals?
Barbara Banda, deserving African Player of the Year. Look, Kaya.
Oof.
Football.
And then the equalizer from
the Moroccan captain.
Oh my word, that's an absolute.
And these games are just beginning. We've not
exactly.
That's an absolute
worldie. Yeah. And just to add, I think the Super Falcons' first goal came in the first minute.
40 minutes.
Fourth, right? Of the game. Quite early. So
very early.
Really good. Really good.
Moving on very quickly now, we have 4 more teams remaining in the FIFA Club World Cup. Yes. A very different edition from what you've been used to, because everybody's coming around to play from the scratch, unlike when the European guys used to join at the quarter, semi-final stages and just play 2 games and all that. But this time around, everybody is here. Guess what? Most of them have gone home. 4 teams are remaining. 3 from Europe, 1 from Brazil. Let's talk about quality first from the Brazilian teams. All of them qualified out of the group stages. Yeah. All of them. Then they moved on. And then they kept qualifying. They remained about 3 teams, 2 playing against themselves. They played against each other, I beg your pardon.
Flamengo and
played against Botafogo. Was it Botafogo? Palmeiras. I think it was Palmeiras against.
Who knocked out?
Yeah, then Botafogo too were in their own set. Somehow, remaining 4 teams, and there's 1 Brazilian team standing. Does it not show the quality, the difference between what we've talked about it before, but 4 more teams remaining. And there's Fluminense standing, despite all the big European teams who have gone home. 3 European teams are remaining, but they are still there. Absolutely. And who knows, they may even get into the finals.
Oh, well, we could have been seeing a Chelsea, Man City, what's it called now? Semi-finals now. But unfortunately, Man City lost to the Brazilian team. And I think it was Flamengo.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't, make it to this stage in the game. However, the fact that we are seeing Chelsea even surprises me. Because I don't know. I'm not saying they're a bad team, but don't let me use the word.
You still feel they are not good enough for where they are?
No, I'm not saying they are not good enough, but I just felt that I feel that maybe other teams should have knocked out Chelsea.
Okay, Chelsea Fluminense now.
Yeah.
What do you think about that game?
Oh well, it's going to be a top game. It's going to be tough.
Tomorrow, Tuesday.
Yes, Tuesday, and then the other game is on Wednesday. So it's going to be a tough game. But you expect Chelsea to be in a comfortable position to win that game. However, because they have the likes of Delap, who has scored like 2 goals, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, he's ruled out. He has a card. So it remains to be seen if João Pedro, who is new,
Jackson is
going to be starting,
also not going to play.
Or Jackson will be back. No, Jackson is back now.
Okay, he'll be back because he had a red card the other time. So João Pedro will not be a bad addition, but he's still new to the club. He has not played any game. However,
he came on.
He came on for the last game.
He has gone to America to join the
team. I know he's with the team. So he's a professional anyway.
Yeah.
So you expect him, to adapt really quickly. I hope they don't rush him, too much. However, the coach actually could, change his game and then have a false nine, and then, one or two things and then play the game. But they won't be under too much pressure. However, don't rule out, what's it called now? An upset from the Brazilians. That's like the home of football. I think it was Muller that was talking about recently how they trashed Brazil in the World Cup 7-1, and he was talking about when it got to like 4-0 and they were like, they too were like what's going on? Because Brazil, this is Brazil we are talking about.
How we became Brazil.
Exactly. So I expect that game to be a really, really, really brilliant game. Between
Thiago Silva, who has led this team on from the very beginning, moving on, and now
I would expect an upset. All or in right now. I want an upset. I so much want an upset. I'm sorry. All right. Sorry, Chelsea fans.
Real Madrid in the other semi-final. Coming up against Paris Saint-Germain. One of the greatest games we didn't see last season. A season where PSG was flourishing really, really strongly. But they didn't come up against Real Madrid. But now we have this happening at the Club World Cup level. What do you think will come out of this game?
Yes, you said they didn't come up against Real Madrid. But you recall that Real Madrid didn't make it to the quarterfinals, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Real Madrid make it to the semi-finals. I think got to the quarterfinals against Arsenal.
Yeah, it was quarterfinals against, and they didn't get to the semi-finals. Yes, which is they could have actually made PSG if they had beaten Arsenal.
Yeah.
However, we shouldn't
water
down PSG's.
No, we are not.
Hold on. Yeah, okay, exactly. Because they actually defeated what's it called now, Bayern Munich 2-0. You understand? So it's going to
hot.
Pretty hot. But this will be hotter because Xabi Alonso has discovered a certain Garcia guy in Real Madrid who I believe is absolutely brilliant. The guy just comes up from nowhere and scores goals. Oh no, that's like the revelation for me for this tournament from Real Madrid.
He's 21.
He's 21, exactly. And then you have the likes of Goulart and then the Brazilian, just amazing. And then the Fran Garcia also who scored, in their game. Yeah. And then Mbappe who scored the bicycle kick. However, people are still not talking about the fact that Real Madrid pulled a coup in the Premier League, getting Trent Alexander-Arnold, who has gotten at least 2 assists.
Yeah.
Brilliant. It looks like
it could have been free.
Exactly.
For him to come earlier.
Yeah, it was a compensation. Yeah, it was a compensation. So it's an amazing game. It's going to be an amazing game. But then don't rule out the fact that these PSG guys are back from fresh off the UEFA Champions League, and they are showing everybody that it wasn't a fluke. The fact that they defeated Inter Milan, how many nil now? Was it 4-0 in the final? They're showing these guys that wasn't a fluke. You understand? And we are here for everything. They want to win everything. So it's going to be a big game. A big game. I know you are supporting Real Madrid.
No, I'm not doing that here.
You're not
analyzing the game.
So you don't do that before?
No, I mean right now and right here. I'm just analyzing. In fact, I'm not even analyzing. I'm asking.
Whichever
I'm
one
not
you
talking
support,
about the game.
May the best team win.
May the best team win tomorrow. And next, very quickly, we move on to what is happening right there in Wimbledon, the all-white arena. And it's shocking because all the big names, well, let me not say all the big names. Most of the big names have gone home. Now round 16, congratulations though to Arena Zabalenka, made it through now, defeating a friend, a former doubles mate, making it into the other round outside of the round 16. And interestingly, we still have a couple of round 16 games today. Make it from round 16. Zabalenka made it past the round 16 to the quarterfinals. There's Iga Swiatek playing today. There's Novak Djokovic playing today. There's Sinner actually. Yannick Sinner is equally playing today. And a host of other games. But very quickly,
is playing today.
You said?
Silic.
No.
There was a game on before we came.
Okay. Interesting. So it's all happening today, and then we're going to see the not that it's tennis. I mean, not that they are not big people, but hey, it happens. Look at what happened to Emma Raducanu. I don't know. Somebody has said, is she actually still that big, or she's enjoying the limelight because she's British? Because she just won one Grand Slam, and she's still using that tax in quotes now, because even to win one Grand Slam is not beans in Nigerian parlance. But they say
it's not beans.
You are not not one of the greats. You are fine. You are the, you know,
yet. Because she has everything, you know, to become one of the absolute greats. I just hope our career doesn't, you know, turn out like that of Andy Murray. You understand? Who, you know, he just had everything for him.
They say
but unfortunately, you could say that because you had the likes of Nadal, Djokovic, and then Federer, you know, coming in between those. Because Djokovic just walked his way.
I'm the most unliked guy.
Which
because nobody likes me.
Which is true.
Half of the world is supporting
Nadal or Federer.
Half of the other world is supporting
Which is true.
Federer. And I just came from nowhere. And I have more Grand Slams than these guys.
Which is true.
So, you know,
and you know,
he's supposed to be the great, but it's the great that people don't.
Yeah, we don't really
see him as, who are you?
Yeah, but I like the fact that he said that, you know, with these guys, they have good rapport, they have good relationship, and, you know, he's been cool. Oh, well, so but they didn't come at the Gen Z era.
I'm talking about this,
okay, now.
Carlos Alcaraz, Sina, this era for them, they're closer, unlike what used to happen then, where it used to be all out war.
Exactly.
And then, now, at this level now, where we are in the round 16, I don't think any of the big boys or the big girls will be going out today. I think the surprise.
We didn't think some would even go out at the first round, you know.
I feel like the surprise, you know, the surprise edition of this Wimbledon is gone. Now that's what I think. I think
that's
now
what you think,
Sinner is not going to lose today. Djokovic is not going to lose today. Iga is not going to lose today. Swiatek, Zabalenka won yesterday. Yeah. So, you know, the top 5, out of the top 5, only one is remaining for the ladies. All of them are all out, including Coco Gauff, who has gone to reset.
Exactly.
But
that
now,
was the shocker for me.
Right now, you know, what do you think is going to win, male and female?
Well, it's too early. It's too early.
At this level?
Pretty too early, because I would have said Novak for the male, but then, you know, by the time you get to the semis, and then unfortunately, unfortunately, it doesn't make it to the finals, and then you have yourself with, you know. So I think it's ready for me to predict. Maybe when we get to the semis, I can tell you who I'll do.
Anyway, the Wimbledon will come to an end next week. Carlos Alcaraz, by the way, of course, it just looked like boom, boom. Time is just going. Carlos Alcaraz has the opportunity of winning 3 Grand Slams. Remember, I won, Roland Garros. It came back in that one of the greatest tennis games ever in history. Came back from losing to Yannick Sinner in that encounter. It came back really strongly, and then if he wins this, my goodness, he may be on his way to making history. And in the female tennis, we still, like I said, have Zabalenka, who is going to be enjoying herself today. Yeah. Most likely. Then Swiatek still in there as well. And who knows? Female tennis is very strange. They have new winners almost every now and then. Very quickly before we leave, we'll be talking about Formula One. Lando Norris. And it's very quickly, Lando Norris and his McLaren side, got the championship at Silverstone, won in Britain. Everybody, for whatever reason, from what I saw on Sky Sports yesterday, they were all supporting Sir Lewis Hamilton. Yeah. The man is gone past his prime, but he still has the name. He's the David Beckham of Formula One. But the youngins have come
fast in. Life moves. It was just how many seasons ago that everybody was, Hamilton.
No, it's because you are old.
It's because I'm old. Says who?
No, because you said to you it's like yesterday.
No.
So it's because you are aged.
Because it was just like a few seasons ago. No,
that's
like 3 seasons ago.
3 seasons ago, it was Max Verstappen.
Last season was a struggle for him.
2020, Verstappen was the big boy and all of that.
Obviously,
but before then, of course, we knew it was.
And then there was a Max, who was not too far away from, Hamilton, always giving him.
Verstappen was supposed to be there for a long haul.
Exactly.
But somehow there's Lando Norris. And
life catches up with everybody.
His teammates in McLaren.
Pretty fast. It just goes to show you that time waits for nobody, because everybody keeps now and then new people keep popping up here and there, and it's just amazing, and that's the game. It's the race. It's pretty fast. The speed, and before you know it, it's gone. And the fact that he never makes it to the podium as often as he used to, it's pretty much surprising for me, because I didn't expect him to really just go down that way. And like you said, there were expectations that he was going to make it to the podium.
The British fans were there supporting him and all that.
Yeah, but when you get into the this thing, you probably don't hear the noise again. It's just between you and the destination, and then the speed, and it's just like that.
Like Edith was saying, time doesn't wait for anyone, including the time for this show right now.
Yep.
And also the time of life for Diogo Jota and his brother, Andre Silva. You know, sadly we lost them last week. When I saw that story, I was thinking, so what's today's date? It's not April 1 now. What kind of, even if it's April 1, what kind of April 1 is this? And I instantly went on Twitter to check Fabrizio Romano's page. There was nothing like that. Check David Austin's page. There was nothing like that. Okay. And I just did a general Google check. And I saw Daily Mail. My goodness. I was stunned. It was as if it was my relative. My goodness. Sad. You know, it was a trip he was used to. He was driving from Portugal
Spain.
Via Spain, going where he was going to take a ferry to England.
To Liverpool. He was returning.
He couldn't travel via air because of the surgery.
Yes, so doctors advised against traveling because of the surgery he had. And then it was the route that he took for his wedding. Yeah, it was the route that he took, but unfortunately, he was trying to trying to overtake, and then the tire burst. Wow, that Lamborghini was, man, it's just pretty sad. Man. Pretty sad. Our heart goes out to the family, Portugal and Liverpool. Mourinho was saying something that it really messes up not just the family. He said the players, the fact that they had been with him, and then it's just going to be pretty tough. But here from Punch, we wish them the really, really, all the best. All the best, and let them just keep strong. Because even we are as football fans, it's just really sad. The more you see the tributes, the more you see new things about him, it just it hurts the more. So
a lot of players have celebrated goals in the last few days.
Even our own,
him, including our own Sola Babajide yesterday. May his gentle soul and that of his brother rest in perfect peace. On this note, we say goodbye and have a fantastic week. Stay out of trouble. See you next Monday, God willing. Bye for now.